Why do we suffer at the hands of these politicians? Don't you know politicians work for you? You're the boss. You hire them and you fire them. Look at their campaign. You know what they do? They audition.
Yeah.
When you put them on the job, if they're not doing the job, then you fire them. Because you're in control. From the city to the state to Congress to the president. You run this.
What you heard, baby? I'm a politician. I don't follow leaders who ain't got no vision. Fly like a bird, sting like a hornet. You want me to follow? Tell me where we going. Don't you know you work for me? Don't you know you work for me? Yeah, no, you work for me.
Well, welcome back. This is Jerry Williams, and we're back at podcast, and this is where you're going to be hearing me from. A lot of you may ask, why did you walk away from your TV show? I had several reasons. One, I like to be in control myself. Two, I had a guy that, he's in charge of things, and he wanted me to kiss up and Bruce Rauner's ass, and I couldn't do that. I told him that several times. He told me, well, you got to back off because, Bruce might give me some money. I'm like, no, I can't do that. So I stepped away. I let him do what he do. That's his business. You want to go that route, go ahead on. But my thing is, when and if you ever wake up, black man, you're going to realize that this guy don't mean you any good. You got a lot of people that don't mean you any good, but you got to know how to decipher what is good and what's bad. Had a brother said to me, well, you're talking about the Democrats and the Republicans they're all the same. Bullshit. Do your own research. Stop listening to the media tell you who is and who isn't. When you tell me that they're the same, go and do your due diligence. Show me one bill that Republicans passed that was good for working class Americans or poor people. They haven't done that. Now I can show you hundreds where the Democrats have done that, like Social Security, Medicare, 5-day working hours and stuff like that. As a union, public schools, all this was done by Democrats. Now, am I saying all Democrats are saints? Hell no. You got some that, I would throw in the ocean if I had a chance. But the majority of Democrats have always been, in the modern day era, always been working for you, the American people. That's why the Affordable Care Act, that was Democrats. Medicaid, that was Democrats. Medicare, that was Democrats. So somewhere along the line, you got to learn how to fight. And it's not about some give me this or give me that. These are your tax dollars that these guys are trying to tell you you can and can't. You got to give your tax dollars to the richest people, and you can go and suffer. You don't need health care. You don't need, when you get old, you don't need Medicare or Social Security. Just go ahead and die. This is the kind of stuff that these guys are saying. And if you can't see that, and if you're so damn afraid, then you need to go ahead and die. You really do. But we're going to be talking about that and a lot of other things. So we'll see. We're going to see how you fare up to what's going on today. And like I said, you can't be afraid. You cannot be afraid. And if you are afraid, please. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get into Trump right now. I think this is what a lot of people are talking about. We got to understand that this guy is like a 8th grade kid. He has no intelligence. No matter how they try to cover for him, it's criminal. And I heard a person say the other day that the whole Republican Party are criminals in what they're doing. This is a crime against the country. This man is a crime against the country with all the things that he's doing. like Maya Angelou said, if a person tell you who he is and show you who he is, believe him. This man has been a racist dog all his life. His daddy was a racist dog. The people he hang around with were racist dogs. I understand that the rapper, I forget his name, he's producer, and he was saying, like, Trump, this is not like you. This is not the way you were. I mean, we were friends. I mean, you were never friends with Donald Trump. This man has been who he is all his life. It's all about him. He doesn't even give a damn about his family. Here you have these Ku Klux Klan, neo-Nazis, and skinheads running around here saying, down with the Jews, kill the Jews, and all this, when your son-in-law is a Jew and married to your daughter, and your daughter has been converted to the Jewish faith. But they're talking about killing them. And you're so concerned about you and the people, oh, they love me, they love me. You were an anomaly. It was a mistake. They knew it was a mistake to put you in. We talked about that. And we can talk about it from now till Juvember. And you won't change. He won't change. But we can change. We have to do the things we need to do to make sure that this country is strong, continues to be the strongest country in the world. And we can't let a fluke like that throw roadblocks in the way of where we are going progressively. Now, this guy is, it's like a cancer. You caught it early. Thank God you did. And you can do something with it. Not like Hitler when he became a cancer. People really wasn't paying attention to it. They were like, oh, he's not serious. Oh, it's okay. And he got to be a cancer, and look what happened. I said this before. This world, we should have been on about 4 other planets right now, colonizing, living, but we're so busy trying to kill each other and hating on each other that we can't do it. We got brilliant minds here. A lot of them have been murdered off. Like in Chicago, when you have drive-by shooters and stuff. Do you realize that they're murdering rocket scientists, some of the best artists in the world, some of the best instructors and people in the world? By doing that, you're killing them while they're little kids. We should be concerned about that. We really should be concerned about that. Now, I'm going to not spend a lot of time talking about Donald Trump and his theatrics, because he wants to be a comedian. If you ever pay attention to him, he wants to be liked so bad. If you don't like him, he hates you like a little kid. He doesn't have the intelligence to be president of the dog catcher time. If he's going to get rid of those blacks and those browns and those Muslims, and those old liberal whites, we'll fight with him to the day we die. Well, that's your business. You do that. But the rest of us know what time of the day it is. We're going to move on. And you can turn around and just fight and start killing yourselves, because that's what you're doing. Okay. Now, I want to change the subject a little bit. I want to go to the lawsuit that we filed in the state of Illinois. We went to the Supreme Court. We won at the Supreme Court, and now we're going through the formalities of getting this thing straight. I've been meeting with the attorneys and also been to a couple of the hearings. And what happened is the Supreme Court ruled in our favor, and they sent an affidavit down to the appellate court, who was to forward it to the circuit court and tell the circuit court to change their ruling and rule the same way the appellate court and the Supreme Court did. They did that. Now we're in the process of doing what we need to do to clear it up. And you have to go to court, resubmit, and then we move forward. It won't be as long as it was the last time. It took us 8 years. It won't be nothing like that, because they can't appeal the Supreme Court's decision anymore. They can't go to the appellate court. You can't go to the Supreme Court. You have to go by what the court said. And this court, the circuit court, who ruled against us in the beginning, they were the only ones. The appellate court ruled in our favor, and the Supreme Court ruled in our favor. But the appellate court now has instructions to change their ruling to correspond with what the Supreme Court ruled and the appellate court ruled. And they ruled that, let me put it in layman's terms. I won't try to put it in attorney. I like to come across to you like an attorney. What the Supreme Court basically said is, you all can't mess with those guys that's already out there. They went out there with you paying them and you taking care of their health care, and that's what you have to do. Now, the Supreme Court said that it can only be for people that retired prior to 2007, because the union agreed on the ones going from 2007 going forward. Even though the union agreed, I still disagree with the Supreme Court. I think that these poor people, like the active people and the people that retired after that, should be covered under that law also. But be that as it may, we are dealing with what the Supreme Court ruled, and that's people that were retired prior to 2007. You're going to have to pay them all their money back because you were wrong to take it out. That's where we are. There's another hearing coming up, and I'll be there. And I'm constantly conversing with the attorneys, and they ask me for information. I've given them all the information that they've asked for. And we're moving forward. The attorneys feel very confident. I feel very confident. And we're going to get this done. Now, here's one thing that you want to know. We have a coalition going. We formed it. We have about 500 people now. That's retirees that will make the decision. Say, for instance, now, if we just get all our money back and CTA just sweet and the pension board just great and say, oh, you have all your money back. And that's great. You won't have to worry about this portion of what the coalition does. But if they don't do that and they say, oh, we want to make a settlement, or we want to try to agree to a settlement, if they do that, then it will be the coalition that makes the decision as to whether we will accept a settlement, a particular settlement, or not. The reason that happens is the only person that can actually make that decision is Jerry Williams, because Jerry Williams is the person that's on the lawsuit. But I have committed that I will not make that decision if there is a settlement. That decision will be made by the coalition. If you're not familiar with the coalition, you need to get in touch with Brother Claude Funches, Suzette. I know you all know Suzette Smith, or Brother Ronald Roach. If you don't know them, then what you want to do is send an email to talklabor@gmail.com. talklabor@gmail.com, and we can get back to you. That's on that now. That's going to be huge going forward. That's going to be huge going forward. So we're going to get to that, and we'll get to some more things. Like we want to talk about some of the things that's going on in Chicago. One of the big things that's going on, we're going to have our Infinite Scholarship Fair September 21st, and it's going to be at the University of Illinois, Chicago, UIC, at the Pavilion from 10 to 2, and then from 3 to 7. That's what it's going to be. So you're going to want to, your kids that's trying to get scholarships, you're going to want to be there. We gave out, I think it was about $15 million in scholarship offers last year with the Infinite Scholar Program. We expect it to be a lot more this year because we got a much bigger place and we got more colleges coming in. Now we're working with somewhere around 1,200 colleges, but normally we get in about 60, but this time it'll probably be about 80 colleges in, and they are going to be there with their scholarship. Sometimes they give the scholarships right there on the spot. And so you want to be there. Have your juniors and seniors there, and even kids that may have graduated already and don't have a college where they've gotten some scholarship. If you graduated, like, say, this year, come down if you're not committed anywhere. Come down and see if you can get that scholarship. Now, I talked to a Northwestern alumni. They want to get Northwestern there. It's a shame that Northwestern's not there, and they're kind of upset about that. So you probably get that. But we have great colleges like Purdue, Alabama, A&M. We have Florida. We have just a whole host of colleges, Kentucky, But you want to be there. That's September 21st, Thursday, September 21st, at the UIC Pavilion, okay? And if you want more information, go to infinitescholar.org and just, go into the website and it'll prompt you right through. Now we're talking about what are we going to do about our kids? And I mean the kids that's killing each other. Folks, daddy in the community, daddy on the block. Who run this? You are the kids. And mama, if you don't have a daddy, you got granddaddy, you got uncle. You all run this. And don't tell me you don't know if your child is a gang member or not. If they are, you got to come and you got to report. You got to report that. First, try to talk to your child. Try to work that out. Get that out of him or her. And if you can't, you got to sit down and talk with authorities. We're not looking for any of these cops to be shooting our kids because we know that happens unjustly. And sometimes it's justifiable because if your kid out there doing some dumb stuff and they get shot, well, I have no sympathy for them. But for the most part, a lot of these kids that do get shot by police are not. They're very innocent. But you have kids out there that are in gangs. You all got to step up. You got to step up. So I want you to take a listen to a couple of things we want to say. And we're going to be getting back to you. I think within the next day or so. The podcast is going to be out every week. We're going to be doing our podcast. Even when we go back on television, we're going to have the podcast going. Okay? So this is where you're going to keep up. If you have any questions, any comments, send it to talklabor@gmail.com. And we'll see if we can't take care of that for you. And I'll be right back with you. Now, when it comes to our children, let's not sell them short. Our kids are very smart children, same as everybody else's child. I know they were trying to pass a bill down in Springfield that when a child takes a driver's ed course, they got to teach them how and what to say to police and, that kind of thing. That is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard in my life. You got to teach a child what to say to the police and stuff like that. Who in the hell do you think the police are? They are community servants. These are people that we hire to protect us. Now, when you go in a white neighborhood, they don't have to do that. You're talking about training black kids how to say, yes, a boss, no, a boss, I'm boss, I'm looking. No. And I know a lot of these kids feel like I do. I'd rather die on my feet than to crawl on my knees all my life. So let's not do that to these children. Let's go and address this thing from where it should be. And that is that you treat everybody in Chicago the same, no matter what neighborhood you're in. Now, I got to give credit to the new superintendent. He is trying hard. He's trying very hard, in my opinion. Now, I got people that disagree with me and say he should be gone, but I think he's doing, the best job I've seen in quite a while. But we got to understand who we're dealing with and why. If you pile these kids on top of each other, don't allow them to have jobs and stuff like that, stuff is going to happen. If you go out there and put guns in 12 and 13 and 14-year-old kids' hands, that's what they're going to do. They're going to shoot because they don't know no better. It ain't like daddy and mama is giving them the gun. My daughter can tell you. She was on the L one day when a guy was putting up signs, and get a gun. You don't need the ballots. Get a gun and shoot. And the guy happened to be white, putting up those signs. Shoot. Bullets are stronger than ballots. Shoot. And he was putting signs up out there. So our little kids are dumb, but you know what, folks? We can't keep whining about that. Mama, daddy, hell, you're the one in charge. You take care of your kid if you want them. If you want them. And I know some people try to do everything right, and their kid gets killed because some other idiot kid out there do some dumb stuff like, what they do. But we can stop that. Mama, daddy, everybody on the block, we got to get to know each other. Once we get to know each other, we're going to know everybody's kid, and we're going to know what you're doing. And the minute I see you acting like a damn fool, I'm going to tell your daddy and your mama. That's the way it goes. And that's how we deal with our children. Don't let these other people tell you what you can and can't do and how you're supposed to raise your child, and they have to get on their knees every time they see a policeman. Hell to the no. We're not about that. That's not what we're going to have. We're gonna be talking about this as time go on. So just hang in there, folks. It's gonna change. It's gonna change. Oh, by the way, one more thing I want you all to remember. You remember that guy Dante Savine, the cop that shot that young girl because he said it was too much noise in a crowd. He just pulled out his gun and shot over the back of his shoulder and killed this 18-year-old black girl. She wasn't doing anything but standing there. And well, they let him out. They dismissed the case against this guy. They had no reason. They couldn't even explain why they dismissed the case, but they dismissed the case. These are the type of things I'm talking about that we are going to have to straighten out. This old judge that dismissed the case, we have been on his case for a while, and we're going to get him. We're going to get him. I'm going to report back to you who that judge is, what the judge's name is, so you'll know who it is yourself. And we don't want to forget. Don't forget now. We're going to have a meeting with the coalition on September 24th. It's at 5701 West Salk Trail in Richton Park. We're going to be calling you and contacting you because we want to bring you up to date on everything that's happening. And there's some great things happening, and you're going to want to hear about it, okay? Some good things happening. There's some things that you're going to want to be a part of, and you're going to necessarily have to be a part of. So, look, we want you to be there. We're going to reach out to you, and these are the people that's in the coalition. We want anybody that wants to join the coalition. It's open for you if you are a retiree from the Chicago Transit Authority, okay? So, for now, I'm going to sign off, and I'll see you again next week. And we'll be on our own radio station pretty soon. We're putting it up right now. So we're going to talk to you a little bit later.